Dr. Rajiv, welcome back again. And today, I know that we are going to give more insight to the case. And dear friend, Dr. Rajiv, feel comfortable to speak in English, but I will again try to ask some questions from your part in Hindi, and I will try to translate it in English. So, Dr. Rajiv, welcome back.
Thank
So,
you.
so first of all, what you want to say, say prior to the our previous discussion, what you want to add on? First, I would like to ask you this on
Okay.
Sushant Singh case. Yeah.
So, first of all, before I even begin, every time my deepest condolences to the family. It's extremely important that we don't forget that this is not this is a personal tragedy or a tragic event for the family. So my deepest condolences again to the family before we even begin. Whilst we are talking about what clearly appears to be a murder as we speak, it's also important to respect the views of the fans. So before I even begin, and I'll hand this back to Dr. Bhupesh, we've got several new bits of information that the all of you would definitely be interested in viewing. I think Dr.
Okay.
Bhupesh
Dr.
has
Rajiv,
been.
so I would like to tell my viewers, Dr. Rajiv has been working with certain police officers, Australian police officers as well, and he has taken, into consideration all the things what he has discussed with these police officers who deal with such cases each and every day, quite a lot. So this is going to be a very big revelation today, and we are hoping that we will try to conclude something out of this session. Yes, Dr. Rajiv.
तो मैं ये जस्ट टू मेरे ये नहीं है कि प्लीज हिंदी के दर्शकों मैं हिंदी की भाषा को रिस्पेक्ट करता हूँ, लेकिन मेरी फ्लुएंसी इतनी ज्यादा नहीं है. इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि मेरी फ्लुएंसी हो, इसलिए हमने तय किया है कि डॉक्टर भूपेश हिंदी में ट्रांसलेट करेंगे और मैं अंग्रेजी में बोल पाऊंगा, तो सो दैट द इंग्लिश speaking population also in England, US, etc. can understand this very clearly. So over back to Dr. Bhupesh.
सर, देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन, एक क्वेश्चन आ रहा है बार बार यहाँ पर कि विसरल ऑर्गन का क्या हुआ. विसरल ऑर्गन से हमें क्या क्या पता लग सकता था. मैं जानता हूँ आप बहुत बड़ा खुलासा करने वाले हैं, पर हम थोड़े से क्वेश्चंस पहले ले लेते हैं, उसके बाद हम उस चीज पर आएंगे. विसरल ऑर्गन्स से हम और क्या क्या पता कर सकते थे या क्या हुआ उनका, जो आपने पूरे केस को देखा.
तो visceral organs generally they एक तो बाहर से they apart from the toxicology screen that they test for various drugs that everybody knows, the visceral organs are looked at from outside, how they look, appear, the shape, texture, कोई change हुआ है, has there been a change or not in the visceral organs. So they are looked at from a shape perspective as well as a microscopic perspective. कि कोई अंदर की कोई बीमारी तो नहीं थी, was there any disease from inside which was already a diseased process. So there are various things that the people look into, the pathologists look into. And then last but not the least is your toxicology screen, which is your that they sit down and send for what all drugs or medications have been through those particular organs.
And of course, dear friend, as Miss Anisha is asking here, visceral report, please shed some light on what doctors can judge with 25% of visceral remains. So, say definitely, even if it is visceral organs of Mr. Sushant which have been collected, अगर उनके ही visceral organs लिए गए हैं, तो डेफिनेटली उससे डीएनए भी चेक हो सकता है उनके ही विसरल ऑर्गन्स है या नहीं, और जो उनके फादर से या किसी भी सिबलिंग से आगे मैच किया जा सकता है. और जो 25% विसरल रिमेन्स हैं, चाहे जितने भी हो, देखिए फॉरेंसिक साइंस में इतना ज्यादा अमाउंट कभी भी नहीं चाहिए होता है, और ये काफी एडिक्वेट अमाउंट है. अगर किसी भी चीज को रूल इन या रूल आउट करना है, चाहे वो अल्कोहल हो या कोई ड्रग हो, क्योंकि अब उसका एसिमुलेशन नहीं हो रहा है। अब वो या तो सॉल्यूशन में आ जाएगी, जिस सॉल्यूशन में विसरल ऑर्गन्स को हमने कलेक्ट किया हुआ है, चाहे वो फॉर्मेलिन हो, फॉर्मेल्डिहाइड हो, या जो भी हो, और उससे हम क्रोमेटोग्राफिक एग्जामिनेशन करके, देखिए बहुत साइंटिफिक चीजें हैं, उससे हम क्रोमेटोग्राफिक एग्जामिनेशन करके पता लगा सकते हैं कि कौन सी चीज किस चीज में ज्यादा यूज हुई है या किस मात्रा में यूज हुई है। Dr. Rajiv, I would like to ask you a question. Why, say because you have done your internship in Mumbai, as you told earlier, why the Cooper hospital has been selected specifically? If there is anything which you want to shed light upon.
Yes. So basically, even 30 years ago, the story was that in case if there was something which you wanted quickly to come out, matlab, for people to look the other way, this was just the unofficial version. Cooper Hospital में लिया जाता था, but the body was taken to Cooper Hospital. However, my understanding is that now Cooper Hospital has become a medical college, as well as it's a part medical, it's a part private and part municipal sort of hospital and medical college. So we've discussed this before, Doctor, that basically something went wrong, and we'll discuss that in the course of events, and therefore they had no choice but to take the body to Cooper Hospital.
Okay, so now the next question is, we came up with a theory of the taser.
Yes.
Okay, and as per our last discussion, say apart from this live channel, that you have discussed it very dedicatedly with the police officers there.
Yes.
So how confirm we are on the use of the taser?
We are virtually 100%. Of course, we can't say 100% because it's on the photographic evidence. There's nothing else. Unless you've got a body with a stuck needle, it's unless those photographs are manufactured or fabricated, that's as good as we're going to get. We even went ahead before we came on. We last week itself, before the AIMS, Dr. Bhupesh's channel, we already disclosed to the public that the murder was it was not a suicide, it was a murder. We also said that the murder most likely was on the terrace. Now, only as of yesterday, the media has come to know that the murder was on the terrace, and
But how we can confirm that it has happened on the terrace?
well, the chronology of events, it's of course, this is a hypothesis. It's far easier to carry a body one step down, from the terrace to the sixth floor, which is just one flight of stairs, rather than to carry it up from the ground floor or
Yeah.
the lower level to a higher level.
Okay. Okay.
We've also discussed the fact that sadly, we have very strong reasons to believe that this was a trial and a test run was conducted.
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. So it is very big revelation we are going to make today. We'll come back.
We're proud of
There's a question on your screen. It's a news
Guys,
that CBI will give.
you need to follow this guy. He's
Yeah.
very good.
Sir, it's in news that CBI will give Viswa report to FBI. Say, I have not watched that news, and I will came to know I am going to be live on India TV at 4 p.m. So we'll see what is going to happen. And what exactly say if Viswa organs will be given to FBI? I think we have all the technologies and all the techniques in India available as well. I don't know that why the visceral organ will be given to FBI. We have HPLC and we have GCMS, everything which can analyze the elements, whatever they are in viscera, even whatever drug was there, say injected or ingested. But it's okay. We'll see more on that. Now, doctor, coming to the main part, that you said that it was a trial.
There were test runs conducted before, yes.
Means the test run conducted on Sushant itself or on somebody else, or somebody also have been killed? What do you think that this methodology or using टेजर का यूज करना उनके लिए इतना आसान रहेगा? मतलब कि उन्होंने प्रैक्टिस किया कहीं सुशांत पर ही या कहीं और प्रैक्टिस किया?
Gujarat taser have been supplied to the Gujarat government first time in March, and it was the first time in 2020 that the tasers were issued to the Gujarat police force. I
Okay.
suspect that was the first state to get tasers. I suspect somewhere around April or May, Bombay police were perhaps the second
The
for
police force to get, yeah.
forces to get the tasers, and it's very very likely that that the Grant Road police station was amongst the first to get the tasers, or some BD Marg or PD Marg police station. That was where the Ajmal Kasab ka, that the entire those police officers. So that being such a old police station was probably one of the first to get that, and I think the chief minister of Maharashtra state announced that his his police force is going to get the latest weaponry.
Okay, so it means the taser mostly are in the possession of the police officers.
Yes.
And if a normal person like me want to have it, so in India, I'm talking about in India, because in Europe and every other country, it is very much common.
No, well, it's not very common, but yes, in Europe it's available, but you can't get it in Australia, you can't get it in New Zealand, you can't get it in the UK. I'm not sure. I don't think it's available in India.
So
I don't know.
do I need to get a license for that if I want a taser gun in India, or will it be very difficult for me to get it in India at all?
It's very very difficult. I think I'm not sure how it goes, but it's certainly not freely available. Like you can't आप भाजी मूली की तरह खरीद नहीं सकते इसको.
Okay.
जो like America में, because there's a law in the US that you can buy guns at a shop, but no other country can you do that.
Okay, there is a question from Ms. Vinita. Is it possible even after 12 to 16 hours of strangulation, a person can be under V phase stage? Means I
Ventricular
think,
fibrillation,
yeah,
ventricular fibrillation. No,
no, it is not possible.
you've got only the ventricular fibrillation will kill somebody within maximum time that you've got is 4 minutes, 240 seconds. 99.97% of people die uh, on the streets with ventricular fibrillation. Even in a hospital, the survival rate is just 0.03%.
Okay, here is a very good question. I listened to some channel that Sushant was murdered twice. Do you think he was alive and then killed in Cooper? Doctor, would you like to say something?
No, he was assassinated most likely, and murdered in his house, and you can't. He wasn't alive. He was dead. There is, yeah. We've got adequate reasons for that. So sorry.
Okay. Now we are going to reveal the thing which Dr. Rajiv has to say. Dr. Rajiv, over to you, and then we will take certain questions. As you have discussed with the police officer, what was the complete scenario and how
Okay.
it would have happened? What is the thing?
पहले मैं चाहूंगा कि मैं पूरा पहले लास्ट लास्ट एपिसोड का बैकग्राउंड बताता हूँ, और
जी जी
तो फिर उसके बाद हम आगे की तरफ जाएंगे. So
जी
first of all, again, thanks to Dr. Bhupesh and all the fans of Mr. Rajput. Again, with due condolences to you and the team. We came up even before anyone else. We said that this Mr. Rajput was most likely murdered on the terrace, where he was assaulted on his right knee first with a cricket bat and a stump. We said the cricket bat and a stump was basically because those were perhaps the only weapons which will go unnoticed on a lift from the ground floor to the top. Mr. Rajput's in his 50 wishes was one of them was to bat left-handed and against some opposition. I think it was wish number 3 from memory. So there must have been a stump or a bat with which he was assaulted whilst he went up to the terrace. We are presuming it was to do stargazing.
Yeah, telescope thing.
With
Yeah.
a telescope. So he was assaulted on his right knee. After that, he developed a right foot drop. He fell down. Our theory was a left-handed person. Then part of this team took a taser, and left-handed person took a taser and assaulted him with the taser on the left side of his neck. And then somebody sat on him from behind, and with a thick belt which was clearly marked, his neck was pulled behind and he was choked. I'm really sorry to describe this for fans, and this is very, very painful way to die, and he was choked to death. Simultaneously, there were questions which I at that point in time couldn't answer as to why were there needle marks on his feet. And that's also likely that somebody else, that's where another group of tasers probably come into the picture. And another set of tasers were fired on his feet and on his legs to make him completely paralyzed. Okay. After he was killed and no more, the lights were shut off and his body was probably taken down. These were professionals. They cleaned the body out, and then the body was again dressed and then placed in that room, which was bedroom with air conditioning on full to ensure that the cold breeze keeps the body cool. So this is where we reached the last time. I'll hand it back to Dr. Bhupesh. हिंदी में आपको बोलना है तो you can just
it's okay, we can go ahead now. What other things, what new things you have with you that we confirm it as a case of homicide and the way it has been done?
So there were some photographs which Dr. Bhupesh showed me, and one of them was the pellet which the probe which had got stuck right below the right ear. And this was a photograph which Dr. Bhupesh showed me from the R.N. Cooper Hospital, where his body was kept. And on expanding, we looked at it very carefully and we tried to analyze. So what happens is when the taser is fired, the metal probe जो होता है वो काफी brittle होता है. So that metal probe is very brittle and it tends to snap very easily. We are of the opinion that there was somebody in that team who assassinated or killed him, was an assistant in some hospital where he was assisting a surgeon or some sort of medical experience, because even the police in Western countries have to go to a doctor to get those probes removed after they have been fired, because the objective is not to kill, the objective is to just paralyze. So
डॉक्टर साहब यहाँ पे कुछ लोग कह रहे हैं, मैं थोड़ा सा इनको हिंदी में एक्सप्लेन कर दूं. तो डॉक्टर साहब ये कह रहे हैं यहाँ पर जो लेफ्ट साइड में जो 2 मार्क्स थे, जो टेजर के मार्क्स थे, सबसे पहली बात तो वो किसी प्रोफेशनल ने किए हैं, और दूसरी चीज डॉक्टर साहब का ये कहना है कि कोई ऐसा स्टाफ उनकी टीम में जितने भी लोग थे वहां पर, जो 4-5 लोग थे या कोई और भी ऐसा रहा होगा रात में इस वारदात के समय, जिसको पैरामेडिक्स की, जिसको थोड़ी सी मेडिकल की नॉलेज थी, और डेफिनेटली उसको ये पता था कि कहाँ पे हिट करना है, किस तरीके से हिट करना है, और जो पैलेट्स होते हैं, जो पैलेट्स होते हैं, जो टेजर के जो प्रोब्स होते हैं, वो एक प्रोब स्टक वहां पे दिखाई दे रहा है, और बॉडी को क्लीन करने की कोशिश की गई। और जो प्राइमरी क्राइम सीन था वो रूम नहीं था, ये ज्यादातर छत पे ही हुआ है, ये टेरेस पे हुआ है। और उन्होंने शायद एक प्रोब को निकाला भी है, मेरे ख्याल से एक प्रोब को उन्होंने निकालने में वो कामयाब
सक्सेस
हुए।
कामयाब
ओके।
हो।
दूसरा प्रोब वो नहीं निकाल पाए, क्योंकि ये सर्जिकली ही जैसा कि आपका कहना है कि जैसे ऑस्ट्रेलिया में भी कभी होता है, तो वो डॉक्टर्स के पास ही ले जाते हैं ऐसे पेशेंट्स को, और डॉक्टर्स ही सर्जिकली उनको रिमूव करते हैं। तो मेरे को जो वहां पे जो वो प्रोब दिखाई दे रहा है, वो शायद उसी का प्रोब है, जो उसी का वायर है, उसी प्रोब का वायर है जो बाहर वहां दिखाई दे रहा है लगा हुआ। सबसे पहली बात तो ये है। और दूसरी चीज डॉक्टर साहब, यहाँ पर बात आती है, आप दोनों प्रोब के बीच में हमें बेल्ट मार्क नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है। दोनों प्रोब के बीच में, ये मेरी फाइंडिंग है, अभी मैंने ये गौर किया, दोनों प्रोब के बीच में बेल्ट मार्क नहीं है, मार्क जा रहा है। तो यानी कि टेजर बाद में यूज किया गया है, बेल्ट पहले यूज किया, पहले बेल्ट से उसको दबा दिया गया है, और उसके बाद उसी जगह पे टेजर मारे गए हैं। तो वो जो, नहीं 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 सॉरी, क्योंकि उनके बीच में बेल्ट मार्क, हाँ, इट इज द अदर वे, उनके बीच में बेल्ट मार्क नहीं है। तो यहाँ पर बहुत बड़ी चीज यहाँ पर आ जाती है कि उसको पैरालाइज करने के लिए टेजर यूज किया गया, और कई बार यूज किया गया है। मेरे ख्याल से ये है कि इसको कई बार यूज किया गया है। और
और
आपने
एक
एक, जी, जी,
और एक नहीं, शायद 2-3 टेजर्स थे। एंड दैट्स व्हाई प्रीवियसली जो हमने कहा था कि it was likely that Sushant himself had a taser. It's unlikely. Chances are this is somebody. Police generally tend to have these tasers. So somebody who had access to those multiple tasers, ka to somebody who is could have been suspended from the police in the past, or paramilitary or military, who has still got access to these kind of weapons. It
no,
seems
this
to
clearly indicates so many things here. We would not like to name anybody here, dear viewers. You can understand, say how experienced a person has to be to use the taser. And what I see, say doctor, बहुत ही पास से यूज हुआ है, क्योंकि दूर से आप इतना निशाना उसी जगह नहीं लगा सकते। मेरे ख्याल से टेजर की जो मैक्सिमम डिस्टेंस, जो इफेक्टिव रेंज ऑफ फायरिंग है, जिसको हम कह सकते हैं 6.5 टू 7 मीटर्स है। तो वहाँ ये जो मार्क है यहाँ पर, ये बहुत ही मेरे ख्याल से बहुत पास से ही लगाया गया है, और तभी वो जो प्रोब है इतना अंदर घुस जाएगा, इतना अंदर धस जाएगा कि उसको निकालना मुश्किल रहा होगा।
it is very difficult, and that's why we came up with this other issue कि एक बार the साफ सफाई जो चल रही थी और बॉडी को जो जैसे ही अंदर it got stuck बुरी तरह से अंदर हड्डी में या बोन में अटक गया शायद, या टिश्यू में deeply it had got affected and they couldn't pull it out. Therefore the strategy had to be that the body had to be taken to Cooper Hospital, because that's, I assume, their point where the autopsy people would not comment on the neck and also assist in trying to get rid of the
And that's why in the postmortem report, the neck column was, found intact, that there is no such thing, uh, because they do not want to touch that taser thing. If they will write it, and nobody has noticed. Do you think that during the postmortem, so-called postmortem, they have tried to remove that probe? Have they tried, or it was still? Do you think it got unnoticed? Now,
they
what
must
I'm thinking, maybe Ria has went again to the mortuary to see that. See, there was an Instagram post. I'm just correlating, dear viewers. I am not making any claim, any blame, any conclusions
Yeah,
here.
this Akshi Jindal has brought up a very good point. Question, we've answered this before, but we've addressed this further. One more reason as to why the person was killed on the 13th, why Mr. Rajput was killed on the 13th night,
Yeah.
and which is what we were discussing before, Dr. Bhupesh and I, is that being a film star, we've already discussed Neeraj, the cook's involvement, who said ke nariyal pani and mango shake and things like that. But
Yeah.
and he also said the cook the that Mr. Rajput had gone for a run or exercise in the morning. Now, given the state of the body and how much his facial hair had grown, with the with the and Mr. Rajput being an actor, he it's very highly unlikely that he went out with that kind of unshaved appearance for a run in the morning, because his image was paramount to him. And in most of his movies, or his unless it was part of his acting necessity, he wasn't unshaven. So that is another reason why I've discussed this here, and it's more likely that he was killed on the 13th. And we've discussed this in our previous
And
video.
also because it has happened so on the terrace, it will not be possible that at 9 or 10 o'clock he was on the terrace, which completely a bogus theory, as told by the house members also, that he came out at 8 o'clock and then went back. So all these things, I think he went for stargazing either early morning, maybe around 2 o'clock or one, or maybe it was last night, where say he was gazing the stars through telescope. I think now, he was having one of the best telescope, and it must be having certain recordings as well. I don't want to tell this openly, but there must be something, because it is electronic, say, device again. The telescope which what say he was having, it can give a clue that what time last it has been accessed, which is going to be a very good point about the terrace story, or the something. The second most important point, what you said, that a paramedical, the involvement of a paramedical staff or a person who is having such knowledge. So the person who has done such type of training, maybe a military doctor or whosoever, it means he was knowing that this thing can be used easily and sophisticatedly to confirm this. What do you think, doctor?
हाँ जी, हिंदी के दर्शकों के लिए मैं थोड़ा सा हिंदी में बोल दूंगा कि ये कोई कंपाउंडर या पैरामेडिकल जो डॉक्टर नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि डॉक्टर इतनी घिनौनी हरकत नहीं करेगा। तो जो
यहाँ पे जो निकल के आ रहा है साफ में, वो ये भी है कि ड्रग्स भी ले रहे हैं डॉक्टर्स, तो मतलब इस तरीके की बातें हो रही हैं जी।
तो ये कोई जो नर्स या जो सूचर्स निकाल सकते हैं, और जैसे ही उन्होंने पहला टेजर का पहला प्रोब निकाला, उसके बाद उन और दूसरी टूट गई, क्योंकि वो जो वायर था जो डॉक्टर भूपेश ने बताया, वो काफी ब्रिटल है, वो इट्स वेरी ब्रिटल एंड वेरी इजीली। तो इसीलिए जो पुलिस जब फायर करती है, तो दे ऑल्सो हैव टू टेक द पेशेंट टू द तो उनको भी डॉक्टर के पास लेके जाके ही प्रोब निकालना पड़ता है। एक और
सर प्लीज।
एक और चीज जो लास्ट टाइम जो पूछा गया था कि सेलो टेप के बारे में, दैट वाज आल्सो समथिंग व्हिच आई गॉट स्टम्प्ड विद। तो मैं पूछ के आया, तो वो सेलो टेप नहीं वो था, वो बेसिकली जो प्रोटेक्टिव कवर होता है, वो जब उन्होंने इतनी क्लोज रेंज पे फायर की, वो चिपक गया मिस्टर राजपूत के स्कार पे, तो वो चिपक गया था जो मल्टीपल अटेम्प्ट्स जो, और इसीलिए वो जो सेलो टेप का जो बार बार जिक्र हो रहा है, इट प्रोबेबली वाज द प्रोटेक्टिव कवर ऑफ द फ्रंट ऑफ द कार्ट्रिज व्हेन फायर्ड। तो मैं आई डोंट नो मैं आपको कैसे बताऊं।
ये बहुत बड़ा रिवॉल्यूशन है यहाँ पर अपने आप में, और पूरी थ्योरी को चेंज कर देगा। मैं आपसे फिर यही पूछना चाहूंगा, आपने वहाँ के पुलिस वालों से बात की और आपने फोटोग्राफ्स दिखाए, और वो काफी श्योर थे कि ये टेजर का यूज यहाँ पे रहा होगा डेफिनेटली। और मैं ये भी जानता हूँ वहाँ के पुलिस, अच्छा पैरों में भी,
हाँ जी, पैरों
अच्छा
में भी पैरों में भी जो सुइयों के निशान थे, वो भी टेजर की वजह से ही शायद मोस्ट लाइकली है। तो ये हमने लास्ट वीक खुलासा किया था टेरेस का, अभी हम दूसरा खुलासा कर रहे हैं। और धीरे धीरे जैसे मैंने एंड में कहा था कि एम्स के तो एक्सपर्ट्स हैं, तो दे विल नॉट तो वो तो पूरा ही खोल देंगे।
जी। अच्छा, यहाँ पे एक क्वेश्चन है इनका, हम ले लेते हैं बंटी जी का। फॉर एनी टेस्ट अगेन टू कंडक्ट, इज इट पॉसिबल विदाउट बॉडी? ऑफ कोर्स, नाउ बॉडी इज नॉट देयर, सो टेस्ट विल बी कंडक्टेड ईदर इफ यू वांट, इफ यू आर टॉकिंग, अगर आप बात कर रहे हैं कि टेजर की थ्योरी या कुछ भी, वो तो डमी पर ही हो सकती है। बाकी जो टेस्ट है, सर्कमस्टेंशियल एविडेंसेस, बाकी जो विजुअल्स अवेलेबल हैं, जो फोटोग्राफ्स हैं, उन पर डेफिनेटली उनसे ही इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो रहा है और उन्हीं के आधार पर इन्वेस्टिगेशन आगे बढ़ेगा। तो ये चीज है। और जी डॉक्टर
टेस्ट
साहब।
टेस्ट के बारे में बार बार ये ड्रग्स का हो रहा है, और मैंने ये आपको भी कहा था, टू बी ऑनेस्ट, इट डिडंट, with due respect, not that we are accusing anybody, but it didn't matter if Mr. Rajput drank a barrel of whiskey, snorted cocaine, and also had about 10 rolls of marijuana. It doesn't matter. It doesn't kill you. It doesn't create those scars.
यस।
Somebody killed him, and it doesn't matter what the drugs history of the person is. This was a homicide, and we need to get to the bottom of this. It doesn't matter what his medical history was, and it is appalling. मैंने आपको कहा था कि ये कितनी घिनौनी हरकत है, वो जो सूजन वॉकर ने जो मेडिकल हिस्ट्री डिस्क्लोज किया है, इट्स जस्ट अ डिसग्रेस। हम तो जब I need the court to send me a letter in writing before I disclose somebody's, मैं तो किसी को भी नहीं, पुलिस आए या उसके बाप भी आएगा तो भी मैं कभी इसकी मेडिकल हिस्ट्री नहीं डिस्क्लोज करूंगा, because that's the most confident.
Yeah, even in forensic science, we have media disclosure policies that what to be disclosed, what not to be disclosed. So this is, so here Shruti Mishra is asking a very good question, a medical question rather. So can you answer, doctor? If first strangulated, then taser used, how can there be the Bell's palsy? Yeah, please.
Bell's palsy was, the taser was used first. I've described this before as well. If you see our last episode with Dr. Bhupesh, the taser was used first. He became paralyzed. It was used on the right side and it was fired. And the reason why I'm saying right side, because and most likely a left-handed person, because a left-handed person would be able to squeeze the trigger a lot better. लेफ्ट मेरा लेफ्ट हो जाएगा एंड राइट मैं फॉरवर्ड होऊंगा, तो किसी लेफ्ट हैंडेड पर्सन का ही इस तरफ से फायर करना। तो वो जो प्रोब था, इट्स मोस्ट लाइकली गॉन डीप इनसाइड एंड दे वर अनेबल टू एक्सट्रैक्ट इट। दे ट्राइड एवरी मैकेनिज्म, बाकी सारे नीडल्स उन्होंने निकाल दिए। वो एक ही चीज जो वायर टूट गई, उसकी वजह से टू गो टू कूपर हॉस्पिटल।
हाँ, ओके। अच्छा श्रुति जी, एक चीज और बताना चाहूंगा, यहाँ पे एक ही बार टेजर यूज नहीं हुई है, कई बार हुई है। तो पैरालाइज भी किया गया है और कंफर्म किया गया। उनको मेरे ख्याल से सर यहाँ पे पूरा टाइम मिला है उनको मारने को, उन्होंने कंफर्म किया है अच्छे से जो भी उनसे। और फिर ये थ्योरी कि टेजर के सामने ना आए, ये भी है, फिर उसका गला भी दबाना अच्छे से। अब ये सही नहीं पता, क्या क्या टेजर की वजह से कोई मर सकता है?
नॉट पैरालाइज हो सकते हैं,
पर अगर
वेरी
वो अंदर गया है, जैसे कि जगलर वेन या कैरोटिड आर्टरी के अंदर, अगर वो
हड्डी, बट जब ऑब्वियसली यहाँ पे तो द मिशन वाज टू किल, यहाँ पे तो मकसद ही था मारने का, तो मार डालने का। तो इट रियली, तो बट मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द टाइम्स वो पीठ पे मारते हैं जहाँ पे देयर इज लॉट ऑफ मसल, तो आदमी पैरालाइज हो जाए।
और अगर यहाँ पे वो मार के डॉक्टर साहब, तो ब्लीडिंग बहुत रही होगी, ब्लीडिंग, ब्लड तो निकला होगा, तो या तो क्राइम सीन पूरी तरह से क्लीन किया गया है अच्छे से।
Correct. We've already said this in your last episode, where we said that the body was cleaned out. Coming back to Veena Rao's question, that there were needle marks around his neck, almost 15 marks when they were wiped the neck. The red color on the neck just went. It was some color. No, there was no color applied. There was the 15 marks or whatever that the Cooper Hospital said is basically because there were multiple tasers used, I think, because it's unlikely for the taser to keep being loaded and reloaded. Taser की बात करें थोड़ा सा।
There's a question about Google Earth. I would like to say, not this from Google Earth. It is say, unlikely to be say, encountered right now. But what doctor have mentioned to me earlier, that when we use taser, there is a satellite connection. That means where it has been used, how it has been used. There is a particular record that is being maintained. Is this so?
Yes. So when the like जो most popular model है जो मैं तो they is something called as an X26 जो कह रहे थे जो तकरीबन 2 ग्राम का होता है मेरे को बताया गया है. तो it's sorry in English the most popular model is an X26, so it's about 200 grams. और जब सेफ्टी ऑन है और जैसे ही आप चार्ज जब सेफ्टी स्विच ऑन है तो चार्ज आप फायर नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन जैसे आपने सेफ्टी स्विच निकाल दिया, द मोमेंट यू अनडू द सेफ्टी स्विच एंड ऑडियो रिकॉर्डिंग डिवाइस stores all that information on when the gun was fired, and it also it's stored as an information in a secure file, and taser records that information. So all that information is available with taser, which gun
I
was
hope,
fired. So it's
I
very
hope
very
video should be watched by the CBI or somebody who is so much relevant to this case.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
The cartridge also contains जो मेरे को बताया गया है, what has been also told to me is that the cartridge contains probes, wires, and some kind of a nitrogen propellant. So
Okay.
and you can reload that gun in seconds. But एक और चीज जो गन के बारे में टेजर हैज बीन दे सेड दैट देयर आर एंटी फेलन आइडेंटिफिकेशन, मतलब कोई टैग्स होते हैं, देयर आर एफिड टैग्स. These are like very small and tiny, like almost like thermocol. They get stuck with electrostatic energy.
Okay.
हर बार आप गन फायर करोगे, every time you fire the gun they go around and they're very difficult. In fact, even the police, even if they go around with a vacuum cleaner, they can't take up, you can't get every single of those aphid tags. They are called as AFID, aphid tags. It's impossible to sit down and collect all of them. Each of those tags are actually numbered. ये हर एक टैग का नंबर होता है और आसानी से ये पता लगा जा सकता है वो एफिड टैग किसने फायर किया, कब फायर किया, कितना टाइम के लिए फायर किया, वो सब is all recorded. So that's the reason why the CBI, I'm told, is looking left, right, and center on the terrace. क्योंकि अगर छोटी सी पार्टिकल अगर कोई दीवार पे चिपक गई है रात में, वो वीडियो कैमरा में बाद में they will be able to expand it and find out.
चलिए, यहाँ पे सिद्धि राय का एक क्वेश्चन है, हम शायद इसको पिछली बार डिस्कस कर चुके हैं. शायद कोई भी ड्रग किसी ये मतलब फुट से देना या पैरों से देना बहुत ही अनकॉमन है. मेरे ख्याल से कोई भी इंट्रावीनसली अगर देनी है तो हाथ में देंगे, और सबक्यूटेनियस भी है तो मेरे ख्याल से वो इतनी शॉर्ट एक्टिंग हो सॉरी और भी क्या लॉन्ग एक्टिंग हो जाएगी कि उसका कोई मतलब नहीं रह जाएगा. तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि पैरों से कोई ड्रग जैसी चीज दी जाए, पर टेजर का यहाँ पे यूज हमें ज्यादा पता चलता है.
Correct. Siddhi, that answers your question by Dr. Bhupesh.
Yeah. And you were saying something, sir, about the other thing.
So okay, do you want a question answer karo? Yeah.
Sorry, okay, you can answer the question. Okay, sir, blood stain, even a drop not being able to be wiped out by mistake of the culprit can be found on, yes. So even how much they will clean, there are techniques in forensic science that we can easily do the ultraviolet photography, or some stains can be retrieved by using certain chemicals. And I think CBI have got something very crucial, so that's why they are examining the terrace again and again, and they have some clues about that, which we should not disclose here. And this is a question that Sushant's clothes were having some dirt marks or maybe some boot marks. I have seen doctors certain marks as you are wearing the collar T-shirt. Certain some some stains or some friction marks were there on one side of the collar, say below the collar. So what this can be? It means he has tried to struggle. He
Yes.
tried to struggle.
So if somebody is sitting on your chest, just visualize अगर दो आदमी आपके छाती पर बैठे हुए हैं और आपको स्ट्रैंगल कर रहे हैं पीछे से, तो निशाने तो आएंगी. तो सैड, इट्स वेरी वेरी हॉरिबल वे टू किल, आई मीन डाई. इट्स
या इट इज ये क्वेश्चन मेरे दिमाग में भी आया था जो रेवन सिद्धू जी पूछ रहे हैं. फर्स्ट डॉग वाज आल्सो पैरालाइज्ड और गिवन एनी ड्रग्स. व्हाट आई थिंक, मे बी drugged, because otherwise how a dog will not bark if somebody is coming from outside, or how nobody is talking about the dog, that where was the dog at that time. Only Neera said that he went for a dog walk and then came back. I think the dog was also drugged for sure, and for a long time, yes. Or
yes,
maybe it's in any food item or anything, of course. And this, yeah.
which is why I said there was must have been a test run.
Okay, okay.
There must have been a test run, and the test run must have been a trial, and then therefore this was the second or third attempt, and therefore they were successful. Was replaced, the bodyguard was removed, the entire staff were replaced. There were test runs conducted, and sadly, it's sort of like when Rajiv Gandhi got assassinated. There were test runs conducted by the team. You're not
Yeah,
going to kill somebody just as a one-off. It
yeah.
doesn't work that way.
We are not making any claims here, because our observations are purely based upon the images which have been circulated in the social media, the images which I have got of the before the performance, and
As you said, the stays on back to back. I'll I'll answer this one question. I don't know whether the Asha Rani has asked a question. She's talking about the tasers used on the back to paralyze. Is that why they use the taser on the neck to make sure that he dies? Well, the taser, I repeat, does not kill the person. It just paralyzes the muscle. So once he was paralyzed, the belt was used to strangle him. I think he died. No, it's not. He wasn't killed on the 9th. He was killed on we've discussed this before. He was killed on the 13th night, and not on the 9th. The body would ferment beyond belief if he was killed on the 9th.
Dr.
Welcome
Muhammad,
back.
yeah, Muhammad Hassan is asking, if killer intention is only to kill Sushant, he can kill Gala Gotke, means strangulated within 2 minutes. But I want to add another thing. Killer wants something from Sushant. That's why killer hit again and again. So maybe yes, of course, there would have been a motive. What we were talking about in the psychological autopsy or criminal profiling yesterday, how the criminals say confirm the thing and what is their mental state. So this can be, the killer wants to confirm, or he was so much frustrated, or he was so much exaggerated from the situation that he want to do it again and again repeatedly on Sushant. Maybe Sushant was having something with him which he want to reveal, and that was for that he was punished. And yeah, it was a very brutal act which has taken place.
One of the questions that I just read somewhere on YouTube, which tasers are generally taser as a company will not give tasers to anybody else but the police. I'm not sure whether you can get it from the army or not, but I doubt very much that the army does not use tasers. It's generally meant for the police as an industry, and the police have to go into a contract with the taser company.
Okay.
So it's like a contract. तो हर चीज record होती है. It keeps the people safe from police violence, and obviously the biggest thing is it keeps the police safe from uh, people violence. So both ways, and the gun records everything.
अच्छा,
So
कोई क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है कि यहाँ पे ये लीगल है या इलीगल है। एक क्वेश्चन पॉपअप हुआ था। देखिए,
हाँ जी।
टेलर को कौन खरीद सकता है, कौन नहीं खरीद सकता है, वो एक लीगैलिटी है। पर किसी भी चीज़ को हम इल्लीगली यूज़ कर सकते हैं। किस पे यूज़ किया गया है, किस सिचुएशन में यूज़ किया गया है, वो डिसाइड करता है कि ये लीगल है। एक चाकू अपने पास रखना लीगल है, अपने घर में एक चाकू रखना कोई इल्लीगल नहीं है। पर आप उसी चाकू को अगर किसी गलत चीज़ के लिए इस्तेमाल करते हैं, तो वो इल्लीगैलिटी में फिर आ जाता है। एक सिरिंज घर में रखना कोई इल्लीगल नहीं है, या इस तरीके की चीज, पर आप उसको गलत चीज के लिए इस्तेमाल करते हैं, तो वो एक्ट आपका मीन्स। देखिए, फॉरेंसिक में दो चीज होती है, मेंस रिया एंड एक्ट रिया। एक तो इंटेंशन होती है और दूसरी चीज है एक्शन। तो दोनों का होना बहुत जरूरी है। खाली अगर इंटेंशन मन में होगी और आप कुछ नहीं करते हैं, तो वो कोई इलीगल नहीं है। और आपकी इंटेंशन भी है और आप गलत कर भी देते हैं, तो वो एक इलीगल है। तो डेफिनेटली यहाँ पर सर मैं
तो
समझता हूँ कि हमने बहुत सारी चीजें बताई हैं। अब आप कुछ ऐड ऑन करना चाहें इसमें लास्ट में। हम नहीं
हाँ,
चाहते कि कोई भी ऐसी चीज यहाँ पर कोई सामने आए जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन पे अफेक्ट डाले किसी भी तरीके से। जी सर।
so it's like I was telling Dr. Bhupesh before that. So it's the taser pellet got stuck. Therefore, they had to use a medium to get the body to a known hospital, which would overlook the neck and give a death certificate and give a postmortem, and also remove the probe, which is very sad. And therefore, I believe that's where how Mr. Sandeep Singh probably got involved. Um, it's very likely that the Grant Road police station would probably have all this information: who, where, when the taser was, which tasers have left this police station, when did they return back from the police station, if they were found missing, if at all. Because it's very unlikely that in India somebody actually privately did this with just one taser. It's You've got to do it with at least two, three.
Here all again, I am making a clear-cut disclaimer here. These all are the observations based upon the images which have been circulated in the media. None of us was present at the time of the postmortem. What
These
has
are all our theories. None of it is.
Okay, these are all the theories. We are not making any conclusive say evidence here, but yes, of course, these are the probable theories which we can see out of the images. So, thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you, viewers. And the session is going very long right now, and I have so many things to do, and doctor is also busy. I don't know what is the time right now in Australia. And thank you much,
Thank you.
thank you very much, doctor, for taking your time out and sharing all these knowledgeable things with us, with the viewers. And still, I would
Thank
like
you.
to say that yeah, truth will win. The truth
Yeah.
shall win. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, doctor.
All right. Take care. Take care.